All right, all right, all right. What's going on, guys? Um, Welcome to the live stream. I'm gonna wait until Cody joins and then let him up on stage. But just wanted to go live real quick beforehand. Just make sure everything's in order, and we can go from there. If you guys have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section on both X, YouTube, Kick, whatever. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. All right. Do. Guys, since launch, price action has been solid, man. I'm like pretty impressed. Pretty impressed. Nashway says, this man loves RuneScape. Eddie loves RuneScape. Definitely kick material. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. See how I can do this in the background. Very nice. Fresh haircut. Thank you. Shout your kick. Yeah, guys, if you want to go help me get the kick program, please go to kick.com/indexy. Help me out. Help me out. All right. James says, good morning. Good morning. Nash says, shout out your kick. Guys, get your ass on kick. Fresh haircut. Thank you very, very much. Should be a good stream, guys. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Okay, it's pretty locked in. Pretty locked in. So I just had a YouTube video go out, and I was like, should I even live stream on YouTube anymore? Because I don't think people even like it. Because people on YouTube are more like into SEO. I don't know. We'll see. Follow your boy on Kick, Mr. Chris. Yes, please. Yes, please. I don't care. It doesn't work in my family. Unlucky, unlucky. Corey Painter was popping. Whoever says Indexsy, appreciate it, appreciate it. Guys, head on over to Kick, and I'll we can chat there. We can chat there. I should probably use a different streaming software for this. Why is market cap so low? Shit, I don't control the price action, but actually 100K is decent for my launch because I think at launch it was 700K. Market cap's what is it right now? It's at how much is it? 124. I think it's fine. I'm okay with this. Max was popping. Head on over to Kick. Support me over there. Cody is a big deal. You're a networking beast. Yeah, appreciate it, but appreciate it, Nashway. Got to run at 10 a.m. So in an hour or so, should be okay. Should be all right. So one of my ideas for Kick was like, daily YouTube videos done. X, go live on X and Kick, probably live stream me coding for like hours on end. Why not, right? Try it out. I think it'll be good to try it. Can you read this? Yes, I can. Cody Schneider went from 20 million to 110 million valuation in 6 months, boys. Did he? The fuck? Can't wait for this. Corey says, can't wait for this. Let's go, Indexsy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let's go. $60 viewers on Twitch or Kick. Not bad, not bad. Could be worse, could be worse. RuneScape, yeah. I mean, would that help? I don't even know. There's no overlap, right? All right, Jack, let's start with the basics. Why did you decide to launch Indexsy? What makes it different from all the other meme coins? Well, I'm not profiting from it, right? I talked about this on my X, where all the money I make from new projects I launch with your help, from the community's help, will go directly into essentially back into the Indexsy coin, growing that. So it'll be a nice little flywheel. I'm really excited for it. Why did it drop from 770K to 124K? I think it's mostly from traders taking profit. I have zero. Everything I have is locked up. So yeah. Timeless Man says, I'm here. What's up? What's up? You build a lot of successful businesses. How does that experience translate into running a meme coin? Shit. I sure hope so. Because for me, it's just trying something new. As you guys know, in the age of AI, distribution is king. So I wanted to see if I could use the distribution in the crypto world and turn that into revenue in the B2B SaaS businesses. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. I think it's hypothesis that I wanted to play out. Crazy people have not run this up yet. Yeah, I know, right? Big Boss Eddie is a RuneScape OG. He favors people in the community. I specified overpaid because Eddie used to watch him years ago. All right, we got Cody. Let me let him up on stage. Cody, what's popping?
Not much, brother. Getting through my first coffee, so bear with me.
Yeah. Of course. How's it going,
man?
How
you doing? You've just been going absolutely in. Like, I feel like all I'm seeing on Twitter right now is just you're always online live streaming. It's insane, man.
Dude, right? I think the other day I live streamed for like 16 hours. It was disgusting. I don't know if you've ever done it. I don't feel good.
People that are sending me screenshots of it, like over text, they're like, "Dude, he's still live right now." So
I know, right? Oh, God, it's I don't know if I believe in this community, but dude, this is. Have you ever done anything in this space? People are crazy in here, dude.
I worked in crypto at one point for this company. It no longer exists. It was called Gelt Finance. It was one of those like high yield savings accounts that was powered by DeFi. They're doing something a little bit different where it was a non-custodial wallet built on MStable. And so you could basically pull everything from it whenever you wanted. I think the company's called Open Cover is what they transitioned into. It's some type of almost like an insurance for large transactions, but that was years ago. This would have been probably 4 or 5 years ago that I was doing that type of work. But I've done consulting for like companies in the past, like on their go-to-market motion. But besides that, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, so what you're doing is super interesting, though. Like, I would love to kind of hear your thoughts on the economics of that. I mean, how I'm thinking about this more and more is like, this is a way to basically build a loyalty program, but for like any online digital business that's like a service company. I was texting a friend about this, but it feels like how you like a United Airlines locks you in with their points like mechanism. Like
yeah.
Basically, it's like, okay, somebody buys a service from you, you give them some coin. When they buy their service from you again, you go and you burn more, and it creates this kind of like virtuous cycle where it almost creates lock-in for the customer. But anyways, I'm just curious how you're thinking about it, or where your head's at.
Yeah.
Jumping right into it too. But
no, this is a great idea. I think the loyalty program is fire. I'm trying to figure out how to implement that, dude. I've been trying to code lately. Have you been like putting on Cursor, dude? It's like fun as fuck.
Absolutely. I'm obsessed right now with like generator and calculator URLs. So I just bought job description generator for like $900. I got AIinfographic generator.com as well. And we're messing around with them because it's like we can just build these applications out like it's nothing. And then it's the exact match domain, right? Build some links, rank it page 1, it creates this like link flywheel. And then from there, I can go and build out some niche site. For example, the job description generator one, I'm just going to go and do like every job description template. And So anyway, I'll be talking about it more in public as we do it, but that's how
awesome.
I kind of step back into it. But I feel like we're at this tipping point right now where it's like I'm technical-ish, I can script, right? But like now it's at this point where it's like, I can actually build out like full internal applications, maybe not like a full-fledged like platform, but like tools for sure all day. How are you thinking about it?
Yeah, for me, it's more scripts. So like, oh God. The reason why I launched on Pump Fund initially, this meme coin space, was like because I wanted to learn about it.
Totally.
I wanted to learn more about it, deep dive. Dude, it's been a crash course this last week. I think I got a pretty good finger on the pulse now.
Totally.
But then I would start building products around it. So like Telegram bots, I created like some sort of day trader on Solana chain. That was fun. Shit that like boosts the volume on transaction. Just so like more eyeballs are on it. That was kind of savage. I'm iffy on that one. But yeah, just a bunch of shit actually. Some AI agent on Twitter. So my Indexsy coin Twitter account just like tweets automatically, like trolls a bunch of accounts on Twitter. And yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But like as of right now, my idea is hear me out. Let me know what you think about this idea.
Yeah, I'm curious.
So my plan was to launch nonstop SaaS companies I partner with people on X, and what happens is, I don't know if you've seen the crypto community, but they're rabid, they're crazy. All right. So every time I send out a tweet now, it goes like minimum baseline virality is like pretty high now. So all I ask for them is like every time I launch a new SaaS company, they got to run that shit up. They got to scour X for anyone who comments. Like, for example, my idea was to launch a local SEO rank tracker. And then anytime anyone mentions, sorry?
Galaxy. It's no,
I've never heard of them.
All these kids that are running like the TikTok campaigns where it's like, hey, like you go, clip this and we'll pay you a $2 CPM or whatever. So Galaxy is an equivalent of that, but it's in the crypto space. It's like literally it's GAL, and then XE. So what they do is you can run campaigns where you basically can like have people, you pay out crypto for people doing an action. This feels really kind of related to your space. So like, I want you to go do this specific thing. And then there's some type of, it's like a campaign with a payout structure, and then they have to submit. So I did work with a company in the past that was working with Galaxy. There's this other company called Moso.xyz. It's like Honey, but crypto. So it's like crypto back rather than cash back. But they use that to do a lot of their like initial kind of like growth marketing campaigns. And so anyway, something for you to check out because you can.
Yeah. We were looking at Honey for crypto.
Yeah.
That's hype. Yeah, so I'm hyped for that.
Sick. And so we're just about to. My friend is the founder of the company, so we're helping them on some of their go-to-market motion. But the thing that we're seeing, honestly, I think it's they can pay like 20% cash back, like with how their like unit economics work, rather than like your like 2% that you would get from like a Honey or something. So I feel like it's going to be this huge space, and they're seeing like crazy adoption right now, and kind of these developing markets, specifically like Vietnam, right, where it's like the average age is 30, and crypto adoption is extremely high. Like people are like, yeah, of course I want to get paid back in like base or USDC or whatever, right? Rather than like, you know, having that cash back in local currency that's like fluctuating continuously. So, but anyway, check out Galaxy, because that might be in your whole world of like, oh, I'm trying to get like an army of people to do action. So.
Yeah, I'm on their page right now, dude. This is gonna be crazy. But anyways, the action would be to like run up my tweets. So like, it'll just be I'll be launching nonstop B2B SaaS companies on X.
I love it, dude.
They're gonna run that shit up because like the initial, it's like a for you algorithm on X right now, right?
100%.
So with the crypto degenerates, it'll help amplify it like immediately. And my pledge to them would be like to put half of my earnings into growing Indexsy coin.
It's into the coin. Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. So
fascinating. You're almost just doing like a public stock. I mean, I don't know if I can say that.
Not that as a security. Not that as a security.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was the idea. But like putting back into the coin isn't like necessarily always buying back. It'll be like into advertising, into, you know, growing the space. Because like the coin actually, to make sure it's not a security or something sketchy here, I'm putting it all back in charity as anyways. So it's like,
it's awesome. Yeah, I saw you're doing like is it Canuck Autism, or is it
like a local foundation, and then we raised like I think like nearly $2,000 on that. Took a while, but we got there.
That's
so
amazing,
it's for a good cause. But dude, this space is insane.
The way you can build out like these software, like these tools now is like, I mean, so over the like 2 weekends ago, we're like, all right, we need to redo our whole homepage for this new company we're spinning out called Landing Cat. And like basically my co-founder was like, give me 2 hours, I'll build this in V0. And like, I mean, we have literally like graphic animations. The site looks fucking sick. I'm like, he was like, why are we even like, the future is you're not even going to use like a Webflow or Squarespace or one of these like builders. You're basically just going to go and like prompt this thing, show it screenshots of stuff from Dribble, and that's like what it's going to. I also think and this might be a software for you to think about. I really think there's a huge opportunity in the landing page space right now to like just go and disrupt.
You think so?
Absolutely, dude. Like look at like,
you mean like
or
like design
pages.
or
on the design side. Yeah. Cause like, for example, like we run, paid ads management as like one of our service offerings at the agency side. And like for us, it's a bitch, right? Like you get a client onboarded, you got to go build out this template. Like I have to bring a designer in that actually can make it look like it's on brand, like this whole thing. Like just imagine you go in, I take a screenshot of their homepage, I drop it into this like website builder, right? And then it goes and it clones it out, but like I can go and modify the text, right? So for like the search ad campaigns that I'm running, that's just like automatically built out. That, I mean, I would tomorrow pay for that. I mean, we're thinking about building this internally just because it solves kind of a problem. And the search volume on this is insane. If you go and look at like landing page AI, it's just going.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, but it's super competitive because like all these big guys are entering.
I think what you could do though is like there's all of these creators that are on YouTube that do Google ads at like how to do X on Google ads. So you go to YouTube. A lot of people don't know this, but you can scrape the creators' email addresses from their about pages on YouTube. It's like literally a CAPTCHA. So I can go and hire some dude in Pakistan, right? I pay him like $80. He's going to go scrape me 10,000 YouTube channels. I put them into a cold email nurture, and I'm like, paid collaboration is the subject line. And then I had to be like, hey, name, love the content you're making on YouTube. Can I get a price for a 3 video package offer? And I'll give you a 20% affiliate commission on anything that you sell. You go and you email like 1,000 people. And what you're going to find is that a percentage of those that respond back, they're going to be like way undervaluing themselves in their market because it's an inefficient market. People don't actually know how to price themselves, right?
You think so? Wait, on YouTube?
Totally. Yes. We'll see this where we're having somebody that should be pricing themselves at like $1,200 and they're pricing themselves at like $600 because they don't know like what the value of them actually creating the content is. Because there's not like a public, like, what is the value of me making a video? If I, say for example, they have 10,000 subs and their average video gets like 1,500 views, right? We can compare those against each other and you rank stack who's undervaluing themselves. You work with the 10 that are most undervalued. And what you'll see is that 2 to 3 of those 10, they're going to outperform the rest of them. They're going to drive 80% of the revenue from that. So what I'm getting back to is like, I think the go-to-market motion could be like you're basically just going and sponsoring these YouTubers that are creating
like smaller
content,
YouTubers, right?
Exactly. But like a buddy did this and literally grew his company from like 0 to, I think they're at like 5 or 6 million ARR now in about 24 months. And this is entirely his like go-to-market motion was like only YouTube. And
what niche is he in? Is it B2B?
He's in the e-commerce space. So yeah, so it's like a B to SMB in the e-com space. But
yeah. Harchit says Lovable did that. Are you using Lovable as well? I've seen like a lot of
Lovable. I've only played with like Create. I've done a little bit with Windsurf or Create XYZ, Windsurf, and then Cursor. It's like the only. And just started playing with Replit because it integrates so well with APIs. I've just been shocked at how well or like how good it is at writing like API like connections. Right, we've just been using it for quick data around. I pay a fuck ton of money to Supermetrics. You know that company? It's like a data pipeline tool for Google Data Studio. Another business.
Is that worth it? No way. Is that worth it?
So like I've been using them for the last like 8 years. So I have a grandfather-in account. So it's like it costs us relatively cheaper.
Oh, I've used them on Google Sheets before. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I can pipe all the data from these different data sets into like a Google product. For us, we use it for reporting, right? But I'm over here and I'm like, dude, I think they're to get the account that we would have now would be like $1,500 a month, but like we're paying like a way smaller percentage. I think we pay like $200 a month or something like that. But I'm over here and I'm like, dude, you could probably just build all these connectors with like Replit, and just like those OAuth flows entirely with that now. But But tell me about Lovable though. What have you been using it for? Or like how?
I haven't even been using it. It's just the chat said that.
Okay, word.
But I think I want to. Do you know any of those courses that, like for example, Code Fast by Mark? Is there any equivalent of like these coding courses? I want to do like these, like a 12-hour live stream where I'm just I'm locked in, like for 12 hours and then just stream that shit.
What's his name? Riley Brown does a lot of these. I don't know if he has like an actual course, but I know he has like 3-hour full, just like, I'm going to build this with Cursor AI. He calls it like software composing. But so my friend owns this company called Super Whisper. Have you heard of them yet? It's like basically like local dictation on like a Mac OS. So basically you like download the software and like I can just like, click a key and it starts transcribing my voice, but it's happening locally on the machine. So what's happening there, like where they're seeing the adoption is people are basically using that on top of Cursor. So they're almost chatting with Cursor to like build the software out. So like an engineer is like, I'm not even writing code anymore. Like I'm just, talking to it basically like, hey, I want you to basically redo this function, but whatever it is they're trying to get to happen. And I feel like that stack is where I'm seeing a lot of this go now. Is like you do the initial build with like V0, right, to kind of get the UI. You pull out those files and then take that into like Cursor. Then using Super Whisper on top of Cursor to basically like chat with the chat build the software out. So
holy shit, God, I really need to get more into this space. But let's talk about more on the community side, dude. You're blowing up on X. How have you been doing that? And like, do you see a direct correlation with your engagement on these social media apps versus like freaking MRR, for example? Like, are you stacking that shit way more now that you fucking blew up on X, dude? How'd you get to like 40 something K? I haven't checked your profile out till today. I was like, what the hell went?
Dude, my system's super simple. It's like I write a fuck ton of tweets. I look at what's working, and then I go and I remix those tweets. So like it happens on a weekly cadence. So every
no way. So you run that shit back like nonstop. The same shit.
It's literally like if you go and look at my top performing tweets of all time, it's the same fucking 20 tweets. But like I just like basically am cycling through them. They're just like so Twitter. Like you have to change the tweet like a little bit. So like every one is like 20% different. But it is the same exact content that like people have been interested in over the last 3 years that I've been doing this, right? The difference with this is like I'm really starting to focus on the cross posting between all of the channels. So like Twitter promotes the YouTube promotes the LinkedIn promotes the Twitter, all these things Oh, dude, I'm going ham on LinkedIn right now. I still don't understand it, but that's the channel that I'm trying to figure out this year. We're only growing by like 40. I'm growing by 40 followers a day right now. So what is that? It's only 40 times 30, only about 1,200 a month. So
1,200.
I guess that's not terrible.
More than the average person, bro. You need to touch graph.
Still though, man, we need to get that up to 100 a day. That's like what I'm trying to figure out right now. What I found actually work on LinkedIn currently though, is you. Can I screen share on here? I can show you guys.
I think so. Shit, okay, I don't know.
Let me bring up a post and I'll show you something that I found that's more like tactical, like growth hack shit. But give me 1 second and I'll go find the actual post. So,
real quick, because there's a lot of comments in chat. Do you do any spaces, Twitter spaces?
I've never done a Twitter space. Live, I've found is really hard to make a repeatable process.
It's hard, right? Dude, it's such a bitch.
So I don't do that.
So hard,
I only do stuff that I can turn into like a repeatable process that I can delegate. So like, for example, like we host the podcast or whatever, right? And it's like every Monday the podcast goes live. Every Tuesday the email goes out to the podcast. Like every Thursday my personal newsletter goes, just down that. And then, on a daily cadence across all the channels, you're basically doing posting and it's all the same content. So like, I record the podcast and that turns into tweets and then that turns into LinkedIn posts and then that turns into, other YouTube videos, et cetera. So the whole goal I'm trying, with everything as well is like, I'm just trying to build email newsletters. Like if you're sitting on a 1 million sub email newsletter, like I'll never be poor ever again. Right. Like
what's your newsletter? Plug it.
Yeah. It's so I just have one for the podcast and then my personal one is you can just go to my Twitter, it should be there, but it's investorupdate.beehive.com. But literally I just write about growth tactics, the shit I'm seeing in the market and like actual so business ideas and then the actual like down like super down the funnel growth tactics. Like here's the exact thing that I would do. But yeah, that's it. Man, just literally all of it is basically to grow this. What I'm seeing work right now, Jackie, which I think will be fascinating for you because I know you're doing a lot of work and or I saw you were doing some stuff in the AI avatar space. What we're seeing be effective is you do short form content to some type of lead magnet. And so the short form, it's like all I'm trying to do is get as much reach and consumption as possible. It's almost like spam out, whatever that the most
what's an example though? Because like what I've been doing is just business stories, which I've been
literally those are the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Decently okay, but there's no hook.
Canva SEO case study. Like here's how Canva grew their SEO massive, right? So I try to attach it to some type of brand that's huge. Like that's what I'm seeing be the most effective. And then you go and list off like 3 to 5 tactical things that are related to that. Because I think for a lot of people, they're just like, yo, what do other companies do? But then you can break it down by category, right? Like here's email marketing case studies. Here's like social media marketing case studies. Like what was the social media like motion that, for example, what is that water company that's like it looks all like emo? Is it what is it?
Liquid Death? It's on
Liquid Death. Yeah. So it's like what was Liquid Death's influencer like strategy, right? And then you basically just like lay that out because when you attach it to that brand that like has like it already owns mental real estate and like a really broad category of people on the internet, you're basically anchoring that in something that they already know, and then you're adding on to that rather than having to like start from zero in their mind and like gain that trust, right? So that's what I found to be like most effective.
How do you push it to subscribers, for example? Would it be like are you like in for example the Instagram reels, are you near the end, are you like if you want to see more or hear more about business stories, sign up to the newsletter? And then you have to talk about it on the newsletter, I guess, right?
Just only in the captions be like, download, like here, I got one that's literally on my desktop right now. So it's like startup or digital marketing strategies for business owners in 2025. Like download this 15-page PDF that just lists out like all of these strategies that they can do basically, right? So adding that only in the comments so that, again, almost not even treating this as like an ad. It's just like a top of funnel. I'm just trying to get as much reach as possible. Certain percentage will go into the comments. Certain percentage will go to the link in bio. and then it will drive, down from that. YouTube is incredible at this, by the way. I mean, you do this, I know really well with the BIP sheet. But like,
yeah.
So a part of my content strategy is like, I just make junk food for entrepreneurs, right? Like that is like a part of what I'm doing. So there's two components of this. It's like long format content to build like deep trust so that I can do like high ticket sales that are like when the customer already the person already shows up, they're bought into the system, right? They just spent 20 hours listening to me talk about, whatever growth marketing strategies. And they're like, oh yeah, you're selling this thing. Like I want this thing. Right. So that's one component. The consumption of that is way lower. Like if you go and you look at my YouTube channel, right, there's, I think like the average podcast only gets like 2,000 to 3,000 views. Right. In contrast, I do this other type of
content. Does it really?
Yeah. It's like only that much. But, in contrast, I do this other type of content that's like one person business you can start this weekend, right? That can make $90,000 a month. And literally it's just me talking through like, hey, here's this business idea that you can go and do. Like one I just did recently was like AI UGC avatar agency. Like here's how to, like the whole process, right? Like how you could get your first customer, how you could like, et cetera. That content is like 0.1% of people will actually do anything with that. Like, but what it does is it taps into the entrepreneur like of the ecosystem. And so it creates this, like, as they consume it, it creates this like viral loop that makes it grow, like get more reach on the platform. Right. And again, there's like that trickle down. Maybe 1% of those go and they sign up for like, or they inbound from one of the companies that I owned, which is like the whole point of why I'm doing this, or they join the email newsletter. Right. But how I think about content, especially when it's like you're doing the organic strategy, I'm just trying to get as much reach as I possibly can and then get them into some type of channel where it's like I can have a cadence with them where it's like daily, monthly, weekly, whatever that is, where I can hit them. So, I mean, I think you do this really well with your email newsletter. For you, though, I would just pepper in like, here's how to build like I'm just imagining like a directory business video, right? Like a directory build where it's like, people are sleeping on directories. Like this directory makes 25 grand a month passively, and the owner of it doesn't have to do anything. I'm going to break it down how it works and like how you can do this for yourself too. Like literally that's the hook. You just go into the SEO play. And then what can naturally happen is through that SEO strategy, right, that you're laying out, you're like, oh, you need links built? Like go to Indexsy. It's the company I own. And we offer this, like if you need your, whatever, if you need help on, your foundational links, your niche, what you can naturally plug that thing within the video. And what you'll see is like, again, when you offer all that value up front and then have that plug happen later on, like, I mean, we're literally building companies. Like, for example, we're doing this. My brother, he worked in the medical space for the last like 5 years. He ran like 10 medical clinics. And so they ended up hiring like a ton of offshore talent out of the Philippines. So he got a relationship with a company out there that has a campus in Manila. And they were basically like, hey, we're trying to enter the US market. Would you want to do this? And so this is my brother's company that he's spinning up. So we have literally like the only growth of this company has come from the YouTube video or like my YouTube channel.
No way.
And literally we got like, 45 inbound leads this last month. This thing's like 4 months old, right? Got 45 inbound leads this last month of people trying to, hire offshore talent, right? Entirely from the YouTube video. And like, that is the only marketing that has happened. And so they touched the site.
And what's the business model? Is it like headhunting fee?
No. So it's structured as it's like a BPO, like a business professional outsourcing company. So basically they handle all the HR, they handle all the equivalent of, like a 401k, health insurance, et cetera. What we found is that we can get like way better talent that isn't working like 4 different jobs simultaneously when we do this. And also they have to do like a contract with us where they're locked in for whatever, like 6 to 12, you can do like a 6-month or a 12-month contract. And then if that person doesn't work out, then our people in Manila, they'll go and replace that person. So like, for example, like SEO specialist doesn't work out. We go and we're like, hey, like we need a new person. And like literally 5 days later, we have, 3 CVs from people. And they interviewed like, 100 people basically to get the best. And it's like perfect English. They work your time zones. And like, I mean, it's some of the best employees I've ever had. They're unbelievable. Like literally like the whole staff that's running like, I don't even touch the YouTube channel anymore. It's just like a team of people in the Philippines that are just absolutely crushing it. So anyway.
Really? Well, I mean, because don't you need like some sort of seed content though, initially to get any traction? For example, like, you know how I do the build in public. Like if I don't seed it with enough seed content to like cut it up, then it's like it's not going to work. But that's just me. I'm like
yeah. I think that you can. I think it's easier than ever, like actually, to do this For You page type content. I think for a lot of people, what happens though is they don't start by looking at what's working currently. So like when I started doing Twitter, this was again 2.5 years ago, but just to talk through this process, basically all I did was I was like, okay, like who are people that are like, have knowledge similar to mine that are in the space. I went and scraped all their tweets. I looked at their highest performers, and then I remixed those highest performers over and over again. Like if you hire a ghostwriter, right? This is all they're doing. Shout out to the ghostwriters that are stealing my shit and reposting it on LinkedIn. I love you guys. Thank you for that. It gives me free reach. But they
do that. They just take your tweets and post it.
Dude, it's crazy. Like we had this guy. I wrote this one about Y Combinator, and like literally 2 days later, it showed up on LinkedIn, and like my friend tagged me. And he's like, "Dude, is this you?" And I was like, "No." Some ghostwriter picked it up from Twitter and reposted it to LinkedIn. It was so funny, man. Some idiot mid-level manager that's like trying to grow his clout like within the space. But anyways, so I think with each channel, like, what it comes down to is just look at what's working there currently. And then, I mean, say for shorts, for an example, like go find the most viral shorts within your category, like SEO or whatever, right? Or anything that you're doing. And then go get a transcript of that, put that into ChatGPT, and you're like, write 5 different variations of the same script, right? But keep the same ideas, the same concepts. Okay, you got a new script, and then you literally sit down, you read the same script, right? Like, that video is probably going to have some virality. Like YouTube is notorious for this too, like long form content. As soon as something blows up in long form, have you ever talked to Brian NG? He owns this company called Viral Bangers. They do script writing for YouTube videos. So good at what he does, but it's literally like he can he worked with like Instantly. He's worked with a lot of these. It's a lot of B2Bs. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But what their whole strategy, like I was talking to them, how they laid it out, is basically like we just go and look like what worked within the category that you're in, and then how can we like add to it or remix it so that it's better. And it's almost the same thing as like what you do with SEO, right? It's like what's ranking on page 1 currently. Okay, I'm going to use that as context. How can I make this better? Like, say you're writing like a piece of pillar content or whatever, right? How can I make this better so that it's going to be like an even better search result? You're doing that same idea, but instead you're playing into the algorithm for the organic reach that's happening, where it's like, how do I get, how do I take this thing that we already know went viral? I'm going to remix the thumbnail. I'm going to remix the title. The first like minute of the video is almost exactly the same, but then I'm going to add some more detail. I mean, I'm literally about to launch a video this week that is that exact same thing. So.
Yeah. So like another idea is I had with the Indexsy coin community is because they're all from the US actually. A majority of them are in the US. So they have like US IPs and they can create US based TikTok accounts. I don't know if you ran up TikTok accounts before. You have, right?
We are
like new TikTok accounts like blow up for no reason.
It's crazy.
So like
it's crazy.
So like what I was thinking was I have my editor cut out like 1,000 pieces of content based off of my face and like Indexsy coin. So it'd be like Indexsy coin 1, 2, 3, 4, on so on and so forth.
100%.
And then just have my community post that. And like whatever goes viral, we cut that 1,000 times. And then we run it up again. 1,000 times, rinse, repeat. And then hopefully this brings some value into the community. But like we were speaking on this so I hosted a meetup yesterday in Vancouver. Some bangers came. And they were all saying that in this current state, there's like no product mode right now, and it's just an attention 100%. Economy. So if you own like the eyeballs, it's like yours for the taking. That's why 100%. I think that's why you just got to launch nonstop, partner up, launch nonstop SaaS products, so on and so forth.
So this is how this is why we ended up building out the agency. So I started out in e-com, ended up in B2B, like at a B2B marketing agency, and then ended up in B2B SaaS from that. So, doing agency work forever, didn't want to do it again, right? Because like, client management, it's the hardest part of this whole thing, like just making sure like people are happy. And also finding people that are good at managing that, right? Like that's the biggest component of this. Anyway, but what we found is like we can build the software out so quickly now that like how basically the agency, we just built out the agency so that we could plug the software into our own team and like have a basic every channel have a team that is like an expert at that, right? It's like cool. Like we have a Facebook ads and a paid ads expert, right? New company we spin out, they plug in immediately. We got an SEO component. We have a podcasting component. We have a short form social component, whatever those things are basically. And like, so this is kind of how I'm seeing, I don't know, personally the path forward. Also the thing with this too is like, you go and build one of these out and say it's a tool, right? Like it's like a fucking data piping tool. You get that thing to 20K MRR. You can go and flip that right now for like, 30 to 50X what your MRR is on like micro acquire. I mean, that's fucking insane. And like, I mean, you can do that in like 12 months if you have a go-to-market motion. And like,
honestly, even less. Imagine you're Peter Levels and you're launching something like, imagine he launched Cursor Competitor.
Totally. 1,000%.
Like, what's the MRR right out the gate? Where would you, if you had to guess? Like, I'd probably say like freaking at least mid 5 figures, right?
2 to 3 million ARR probably in like probably 60 days, I'd imagine. The problem is how do you, platforms are where it's like gets tricky. Like when I kind of have two different buckets that I'm living in. So it's like I would like the big bets, which are like platform plays, which to me in my mind is companies that are it's like software with some type of human element on the top of it. Because that's what you can charge like a huge amount of money for right now. Like, and this is just based off my experience. So take everything I say with right here with a grain of salt. But like, the product mode is can get eroded so quickly. Like for example, I own Swell AI. It's like a transcription content repurposing software. There's literally like every day 10 clones pop up, and they cold inbound like our larger clients. They're like, yo, I get pitched this like literally constantly. And the thing there is that there's no, like anybody can go and build these tools out now. But if I layer on top of it, like, hey, here's these exact deliverables that will provide you for your webinar, it's $1,000 a month. And we're going to give you a 3-sequence email nurture. We'll give you a blog post. We'll give you 7 LinkedIn posts for the week. And it's all about this webinar that you just hosted, right? What we're seeing is that when you layer that human element on top of this like AI software, like that's where all the money is right now. Because the AI is like, it can get it 80% of the way there, but that last 20% is what they want to pay for the outcome, right? They want to pay for the final product. And so that's where like, I feel like there's so much opportunity right now. So those big bets that like that we're doing. And then there's all the small ones that like aren't platforms. They're just tools, right? So like literally like jobdescriptiongenerator.com. Like that's a stupid fucking tool, has great search volume. There's a larger play there where it's
what's the monetization play though?
Yeah. So that's basically going to be a top of funnel for talentfiber.com, which is the outsourcing company that we have, the offshore talent company that we have in the Philippines. So if somebody searches job description template or job description generator, they land on this site. We have a pop-up come up and it's like hire, the best offshore marketing talent in the Philippines, right? Drives traffic to the other site. But basically, it's just this like top of funnel play where it's like I can use, and I'd be curious to get your pushback on this as well, just from the SEO perspective. So it's like bought this exact match domain, job description generator.com. We build links to that exact match domain, rank for that. The homepage is literally just the job description generator.
Okay,
and then within that, you have like, again, a pop-up, or you have some call to action that's physically on the page to go and basically like hire that employee. Because like how I'm thinking about it is like, if I'm searching for a job description or generating a job description, I'm in that hiring motion. So I'm trying to catch that person when they're in that hiring motion, when it's like top of mind. And that turns into the top of funnel, like inbound basically for the agency. But to come back to the website, how like where I see this going,
that's
and like what we've seen with all the niche sites got nuked, right? if they don't have
Yeah,
branded domain traffic to the site. But all of the sites that have some type of branded domain traffic, they like did okay. And so how my thesis right now is like, if I can get it to rank for job description generator and the URL is jobdescriptiongenerator.com, then it will look like there's some niche traffic that's happening. There's some branded search traffic that's happening to it. So then if I go and I, again, publish 10,000 articles for every job description template, then it creates that top of funnel. This is my what we're testing. I don't know if this is going to work, but basically this is how I'm thinking about it. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think these tools will be good, but I found ranking for them, it was much harder than anticipated. It's not as like easy as I thought.
Interesting.
Even with exact match domains, I've tested it, but maybe you could execute better than me. Who knows? Because you have you could probably generate a lot of branded search volume. Like you could just be like Cody's calculator, make people search that, and then that'll help. That'll probably boost it way more. But yeah, I think if you can rank, then it's a no-brainer.
So like it's basically like public case studies that we're running. So like the YouTube channel, I'll talk about jobdescriptiongenerator.com and like here's what we're seeing happen, which will then naturally, like that video goes and gets 10K views. A certain percentage of those people go and do that Google search. They click on the link, right? Which then creates this like, oh, this looks like branded search that's happening. Again, this is super early, so I have no idea what's going to happen here. But this is my current thesis on this of like, because like I guess how I'm thinking about it is like, it is like a tool, right? Like we've seen software like Shopify stores as an example, like they're crushing it right now in SERPs. Like it's ridiculous. Like you just like when it's a real brand that sells some type of product or it has like a sign up page, right? Where it's like you have to sign in to use the thing, like those types of websites we're just seeing perform better on the SEO side. So I'm like, how do I build, these small micro SaaSes that then turn into these properties where we're getting like, again, if I can get that to rank for its exact match keyword, I can, and it's an actual tool that works. Naturally, like links will be built out to it. So it creates that link flywheel. And then we just go and we build out all of this content on the back, like all this blog content or all these landing pages, et cetera, on the backside of that. Again, though, I don't know if this is going to work. This is just like what we're testing right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Dude, the audience is begging for you to talk about the coin for some reason. But we're gonna keep cooking here. No, I mean, like, sorry, they're saying, okay, so I did this for autism. What plays are there in raising awareness? How can we help the charitable side of things? Pretty much, okay, like, let's be real here. They're trying to pump their own bags, which I respect. But how do we do that, but also do good at the same time? And have you ever thought about launching your own coin or some sort of community? Because what I realized is you can tokenize, like you can token gate a community. For example, right now we have a chat where like only 1 million holders can get into the chat. Yeah. And if I were to do everything again, Advise is a fucking bankroll of a company right now. It's like 30 to, well, it did like nearly 100K in November. But like, imagine I did that before this instead, a community around a certain topic, tokenize that.
I'm just imagining you pay like USD, right? You get into a community, a token is given to you, right? And like by being a part of the community, again, that burning motion of like where 10% of the community revenue goes back to basically like burning that a certain percentage of the like the total volume of the coin. Again, I don't understand the economics perfectly, but from my understanding, like that makes the value of this thing go up, right? So by them being a part of the community, they get all the value from the community, but then it also by burning that part of the liquidity, right, or like the token that's in the market, you basically make it have more value. So it creates like again this this flywheel.
Yeah, flywheel.
And I think that honestly, again, I told you this offline already. I think this is the first like really interesting utility I've seen for these for online companies, like to create this again like a customer loyalty program on the backs of these these coins. I don't know how you get that into all your customers' hands, but I imagine like in your world, there's a large percentage of people like have some type of crypto holdings. So you're like, yo, like when you buy
the thing is,
yeah.
Here's what I tried so far. All right, I tried to let people pay with Indexsy because we do about 50K a month in link sales. I was like 30, 40, 50% off if you pay with Indexsy. No one did it. Not a single person did it. It got a lot of eyeballs to it, and maybe they bought it separately, but no one wanted to pay with that. All right, that probably didn't work. 2, I got them to pretty much just do these micro actions that I mentioned before that you probably sounds like you're behind it, but I couldn't do that at scale because there's no sort of, it's not, my coin's not big enough to get that many eyeballs. So it's like, it's small, it's okay. So maybe like, oh, they leave a Google review here, they leave an Amazon review here, they leave a Trustpilot G2 review, Clutch review, so on and so forth. Maybe that works. That one's still jury's still out on that. Not the best. Buybacks they love, so pretty much if I launch something, we put it back into the coin, growing that in terms of marketing, whether it be the dev buying back more stuff without being a security. That I think has legs. However, what happens in a space where, you know, my execution doesn't work as well? Like, let's say I launch a SaaS and it flops, even despite having their distribution. I think that's like the bear case. But I think bull case is the upside's huge.
I think with this, so like, I just get back to the business principles of it, of like, you're going to continue to run your companies for like the next 10 years, right? Like, of course. So if you're saying, hey, like, you know, a percentage of these purchases that are happening are going to this, right? Like if you have that long time horizon with it, then the coin is naturally like going to gain value because you're like reinvesting back into it. I think that the part pairing this with the community is where it gets super interesting, because it's like, oh, you're paying, I don't know what your advise cost now. It's like $150 a month or $200 a month or whatever.
Yeah, $159.
Yeah, $159. So it's like, if you're like, hey, you know, 10% of everything that ever goes into advise goes back into buying, you know, basically buying this back. Also, I know so much game is happening in advise. That's why people are actually there, right? This is just like that, like, you know, cherry on top that's happening. But so I think, you know, how I would think about it if I was in your shoes is like, I'm providing all the value in this community. When you join the community, when you initially join, you get a like a certain token allotment. I don't know what that would look like. Like we just airdrop that to you, right, or something. And then every month, right, like we take 10% of the earnings from the community, because that business is like I mean, you're basically a 99% margin business, right? And again, I don't know what the actual structure is, but it's crazy. You take 10% of that goes back into buying it. And so then that airdrop that you gave them, that just went up in value, right? So imagine that just keeps happening, you know, and then what will happen within the market is then you have like that token is going up in value, and like people are seeing that, then you have like, you know, general crypto being like, what the fuck is this thing? But the mechanism is the community, like as the way that you're like creating those, you know, those economics to look interesting to the general like market. Again, I'm not an expert in this. This is just like the economics brain of me that would.
Yeah. I know. That I also thought about that. Like that would work for sure. For example, if I all of a sudden stood up today and I was like, all right, so Indexsy, 10% of all my revenue now goes into Indexsy coin. That coin will blow up for sure. But then I'm out 10% margin.
Totally.
Like
then it's like, okay,
that's great. That's why I was like, new businesses will get this. That was like, that was my idea. You know what I mean? Do you tank your own margins for a community who are like savages? Which I shout out to these guys. They're savages. I love them.
This is just a marketing channel for you, right? So, but your product probably needs to be broader to like a general audience. Because again, you have been owning my Twitter, like your space on Twitter. Like for the last 8 days, I've logged in and there's 12,000 people watching your stream, right? And like you can't pay for that reach, right? That you're naturally getting through this. So like I would look at this as like, yeah, it's 10% of my revenue, but if I took that same 10% and I went to Facebook ads and tried to build a Facebook ad funnel, like I couldn't get shit to happen. In contrast, like that same marketing budget, if I apply that to the coin, but the coin is just a vehicle to market Indexsy, right? Or whatever, like whatever your services are. Like that's an arbitrage that you're basically exploiting, right? So this is what a friend texted me when you started initially doing this. He's like, this might be the greatest marketing strategy that somebody has ever used crypto for. Cause you care about the coin, right? But like in reality, like it's like, this is an experiment for you. This is fun, but you have gotten so much reach from this. That, the value of that, like the earned media that's happened from that alone for the brand. Like imagine if you do this for like any brand, basically, right? And then you just show up everywhere, but you actually provide a real service. Like I'm now starting to think about this in this way, where it's like, oh, this is just a marketing motion that you can do, basically to own, to get relatively cheap distribution that you couldn't get otherwise if you were, investing that same money into these more traditional channels. So,
I think I just have to be super careful because, as I think Tom in the chat said, very similar to a security. I want to avoid that at all costs. Hence, I don't want to say I pledge X amount to buying back the coin. I think it'll be more like treat it as marketing budget. And plus I don't bet, once again, to freaking whatever the Securities Commission in Canada is. I don't profit from this, so all of it goes through charity. Don't try to clap me. I think Tom is right. I know there's like I probably need to consult a lawyer just in case. I don't want to get in trouble for this. We only have insecurities. Facts.
The marketing motion is more valuable than anything else, right? But it's like you have to have a product that you're offering that is broad enough where the general population like has an interest in doing that purchase, right? Like selling niche edits is it's a subset of a subset of a subset of like of a business culture. But if you have like a general thing that you manage, like for example, like I'm just imagining I don't know, something like local business or like paid ads management or, something that's a very broad category that you can go after. Imagine doing that same thing, like this same go-to-market motion that you're doing, but in this broader space where your target audience is way larger. Like, I mean, just look at the branded search alone for like Indexsy, right? Like now that the spike that has happened from you doing this. Now take that same idea. How do you apply that to these? I mean, for example, the WordPress hosting thing that you're doing is maybe a great one, right? Where it's like, we're going to do this, but it's just a marketing motion that I'm doing to create like initial inbound for this, right? So you're creating hype around a real company, and that earned media, like you're getting, CPMs at 0.0 or, at 0.1 cent or 1% of a cent, right? Like you can't get that cheap of media anywhere, but that's like by using what you just did for this very general, like product service offering. Like, and a percentage of those I think the challenge with crypto though, is like majority of the crypto people are just trying to get a bag. So
their attention span is weak, dude.
Yeah.
Like exactly. look at the chat right now. They're like, Jackie, fall off a chair or something. What do you mean, bro? Yo.
Totally. So, and I think that's the challenge with this. But like how I would be thinking about it is like, can I get 100 million people to see this? Like maybe, 0.1% of those people actually will buy WordPress hosting. But if I can get that for 10K and, spend, I mean, you can't get that reach anywhere else. Like this is almost a PR play is really what you're doing. How I'm thinking about
exactly. Because
this is a PR action,
it's everything is for the eyeballs. And I was like, because it's pretty frothy here. So I was like, if I launch one right now, how many eyeballs would I get? Dude, the amount of messages I got in the last week, absolutely horrifying. And there's a lot of criticism. They think it's like a me punching down type of play. Like really bad for my rep apparently. But I mean, anyone who knows anything knows I didn't like rug people because everything's locked up. So I'm not like sophisticated enough to rug people. So I think they see. No, unfortunately not. I don't even think there's a amount of money that in the world that would make me do that, because then you pretty much can't work anymore. Like on anything.
Like in our world, like all the trust is lost, right? Like these, whatever. These crypto kids can go rug whoever they want, but like they're in the blind. But in contrast, it's like if I fuck over a dude or like enough people within an industry, like I work in SaaS, right? Like a lot of the services provider within that, like that'll get known enough that like I can't do work and make money long term.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I think the incentive there is aligned for this as well. Like, again, if using the WordPress hosting thing as an example, where it's like, yo, if you just basically use this as like a marketing motion to like get inbound search for your like actual real business. Like,
and there's like the shit on the back end too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't care at all. It's like if this coin generates more branded search volume from Indexsy in turn will rank higher on Google because of the branded search volume. So it's just, I'm just going to keep doing that. That's the only reason I'm going to do it. But then, yeah, I just have to navigate all the fucking legality shit. I just have to be careful here.
But I think again, if you say like this is a marketing activity, like look, like I'm just looking at your branded search increase, like what is it from December 1,000 to February of 1,700, right?
Where are you seeing this, by the way? I don't even know.
I'm just using Google Trends with keywords everywhere on top of it. They just have clickstream data that they're using. Again, this is just like a relative number, so take this all with a grain of salt. But like, I mean, what, a 70% increase over 60 days? Like just from this action, it's probably going to even be higher, like in March or whatever, if you just keep doing this, right? I don't know. I think that again, when it's applied to a business that has a more general audience, using the WordPress one, because it's like what 40% of the internet is powered by WordPress, right? So if you have offer WordPress hosting, like that means that 1 out of 2 people that are seeing the ad, they're using hosting. They need
WordPress
hosting, right? Or like and the ad is the coin.
Yeah. We'll see. I will see. It's a work in progress. But anyways, I want to be mindful of your time. Do appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate it, dude. Yeah. Hopefully it was some value.
Where do you want people to go?
Yeah, man. Just follow me on Twitter. That's kind of the biggest place. And then go subscribe on YouTube if you want growth tactics for early stage startups. That's basically everything I do. So live in that world. But thanks again for hosting me, man.
All right. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, brother.